naturally dominant wife, she's telling us she's dominant, not me. She's saying, I'm a naturally dominant wife, is struggling with seeing how her more calm and not so, in her eyes, dominant husband, or she used the word aggressive, her less aggressive husband is actually going to lead her. I thought this was a very interesting video and topic. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
Topic. My husband is the leader of our household and the leader of our marriage, yet I am home all the time. I work from home. I am the one who runs the house, and he is gone working all the time, and he is still the leader of this house. I am also a very assertive woman still. He is to lead us and lead me. That is something that we have not perfectly figured out yet, being led as a very assertive woman by a not as assertive man. Like, he's like very manly, but he's not as aggressive as I am, I guess. And the concept of the man leading the house, yet he is gone. I am the one who's home. So I know what's going on with the house. I know what's going on with the apartment complex. I know what's going on with our pets. All of the things. I manage it. He leads it.
It sounds like there might be some actual contention within their household when it comes to this particular topic. That's what I'm getting so far. What do you guys think? Let's keep listening.
We have not figured out how to do that perfectly. That is something I'm learning to be led.
I'm dying at the comments. Did you just learn the word lead? You let him role play. Whatever you say, I guess. I'm crying. You're doing all of this in an apartment. What is he leading? Like, literally, what does that mean?
So, guys, obviously, you guys can see that a bunch of feminists decided to chime in here and clown this chick, clown the husband, make fun of him. And as you guys are going to see here in a little bit, they're doing everything from blaming Christianity and saying this is the problem with Christianity, and also going as far as to say you're a dog, that you have to be led, so on and so forth. Here's the huge misconception when it comes to leadership, that particularly women seem to have a difficult time not only understanding but also accepting as a fact. Yes, being assertive, she mentioned assertive, is an attribute that a lot of leaders do tend to have. In this context, even within a marriage and household, right? That head of the household, he does tend to be more assertive. Also, aggressive, being more aggressive is an attribute that leaders tend to have. However, the most important, and I would argue the most powerful attribute out of all of those, comes down to maintaining frame. Also known as that individual's ability to maintain his emotions, keep balanced, regardless of outside forces, regardless of how other people may be responding to him. How much does that individual allow outside emotions to affect how they act, right? Is that person calculated?
And that's something that you women just straight up don't know how to do. All right, before I get on with this video, I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. And may Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai's peace be bestowed unto you, hopefully elect. And my brother Yahweh called from the Great Millstone, Orlando. And, you know, of course, being in this unnatural environment, especially when it comes to the Israelite man, because pursuant to that 2 Esdras 14, where we are taught to suppress and fight against our true nature. And that applies to the man and the woman. Because by nature, a woman, she's feminine. Of course, being in this fight or flight type of environment, this is why a woman, she needs to be led, man. Because women being in these positions of leadership and authority, they don't know how to suppress those emotions. You see, they base all of their actions off of their emotions. And, this is just why we see all this chaos and confusion. All right. Women given this liberty to gad abroad versus a man. And even when it comes to a 2/3 nigga in the world, for the most part, because a lot of these soy boys, that's not to exclude them, but even with that being said, something that just comes natural to a man, just as far as making logical decisions. You see, I'm gonna go to this real quick before I continue to play on this video in Isaiah, because what does it boil down to? Ultimately, it boils down to the elect men of Israel, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian man. I'm going to go to this in Isaiah 32:1. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. And how about Shema Shah Ratazah? We are those heirs, those joint heirs under Yahweh Shai for the world to come. That's why the scriptures say, in your patience possess ye your souls. All right, not ruling with emotion, not being a lion in our households, and things of that nature. You see, again, I quoted that 2 Kings 14, getting our house in order, which it starts with us, ourselves, first and foremost. You see, because as a man of Yahweh Shema Shai, more importantly, it's time to embrace that fact. Yahweh Shema Shai is dealing with you, hopefully, elect brothers. All right, and be exactly that, man. A man, regardless of anyone's opinions, regardless of how anyone feels, because you leave it up to these women, which they've had at least 5-6 decades to be in control. And again, we see why there's all this chaos and confusion, dysfunctional households, and so on and so forth. You see, because as the scriptures say, as far as women, she's deprived of wisdom. You see, she doesn't think long term, and that's why she needs that guidance, as do us as men. Again, being led by the Spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, having sound leadership from the apostles and the bishops, our spiritual fathers and uncles, and so on and so forth. All right, and likewise these women, man, because at the end of the day, man, we all have to submit one way or the other. We are all going to submit to the order of Yahweh Shema Shai, because the whole idea, and as I'm going to go and play on in this video, and this is the common average mindset, these feminists, these women that talk about they don't need a man. Everything is just backwards in the society. Everything is just upside down. Because the idea of submit to a man, submit to order, which this is the problem. And this is why people, especially women, don't want to come to the fold of Yahweh Shema Shai. They don't want to submit to the natural order of Yahweh Shema Shai, being that you've been given the license to get abroad, do as thou will, have fun, basically. Because order, just like accountability, order is like kryptonite. But newsflash, like I said, we're all going to submit. We all have to submit to the order of Yahweh Shema Shai, one way or the other. And to these women that don't want to get in order, well, that's why you're gonna have to be purged. You have to be purged. And as a man, again, man, you have to be ready to like I said, man, at the end of the day, be a man. Because one thing I always say, man, dealing with Isaiah 4:1, because it's about to get bad out here. It's about to get scary. And on top of that, the tides are about to turn in your favor, you Israelite man. You men, hopefully, like brothers, the tide is about to turn in your favor. And all this training, all the heartaches and headaches, and so on and so forth, it's getting ready to kick into higher gear. The training wheels is coming off. You see, because the ball is about to be in your hand. All right, the ball is about to be in your hand, and it's getting ready to be open season. And having that spiritual discernment, being leaders, lords in our own realms. All right, You know, like I said, the fact that we're getting ready to see a lot of judgment, and through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, we can't let that sway us. We can't let that move us, because a lot of judgment is getting ready to come to these women, these high and proud women. And that whole simp culture, man, that whole Captain Saber whole spirit. I'll say this: Yahweh Shema Shai, he knows how to get you where he wants you to be. He knows how to get us where we need to be, where he wants us to be, man. That's one thing for sure. That's why I said, hey, all the heartaches and headaches, it might not make sense now, but it's gonna pay off. Because a part of it being a man, again, a leader, not dealing with emotion. And you see these women, and again, like I said in the beginning, man, because it just goes to show you how we were all taught to fight against our nature. Because as much as a woman says she doesn't want a man and this and that, and then really she just doesn't want to submit to an Israelite man, because for sure she'll submit to her boss, or whatever the case may be. She'll play her roles elsewhere, but when it comes to an Israelite man, but nevertheless, naturally a woman, she's more satisfied when she's in her natural state, being submissive. Because these women, they cry out about wanting a man and this and that. You wonder why a woman, man, she acts up. She gives you a hard time or whatever, because hey, she wants to be put in her place. She wants to be put in her place. She wants to get checked. You're dealing with these women. There's this thing of these women, man. They'll put you through what's called the shit test. They'll test certain boundaries, see how far they can get away, see how far you're willing to let them get away. That's why on one note, because it's a game at the end of the day. It's all a game. And once you figure out the game, you figure out how to play the game, hey, you'll be better off. You'll be better off. So it's all a game. But these women, they want to be led. They want to be put in their place as much as because one thing about a woman, she's the biggest walking she's the biggest walking what's the word? Contradiction. She says she wants one thing, but you wonder why she steps out. You might be the gentleman, the gentle type, the gentleman type, which there shouldn't be no such thing as a gentleman. A man shouldn't be gentle. All right, he's supposed to have a certain roughness, a certain dog about him. You see, and here it is. You being the nice guy, which that word nice, it goes into foolish, naive. But you being the nice guy, playing that part, you take care of her or whatever the case may be, and you wonder why she steps out and she's sleeping with Tyrone, and Tyrone don't give a fuck about her. You wonder why because I have a certain family member, and this is when it hit me. Because you always wonder why a woman that's dealing with an abusive man, a man that's beating the shit out of her, as much as everyone's trying to get her away, or whatever the case may be, but you wonder why she always goes back to that nigga, man. Because that is a form of that dude keeping her in check. That's exactly what women want. They want to be put in check. They want to be put in check. As much as they talk shit about controlling this and that's slavery, that they want to be put in check. They want a man to put them in check. So you wonder why, man, that chick, man, she's always going back to that abusive nigga. Well, again, it just goes to show you women, man, they're the biggest walking contradictions, man. But hey, going back to the point, just as far as men, as a man, an Israelite man, hopefully like brothers, man, hey, have your standard, set your standard, stick to it. All right, because all this extra shit, hey, brothers ain't got time for the shit, man. Brothers ain't got time for the shit. And that's why these women, they're gonna have to come humble, humility. They're gonna have to come humble. Brothers' tolerance is low as hell. Brothers are not tolerating a lot of shit as it's supposed to be. And you'll be willing to get in line, get in order quick. But I'm gonna play some more.
Able to think with a clear head or mind. And this is where everything's going to come together. This woman here deleted this video. She deleted this video most likely for 2 reasons. Number 1, she made a decision to get online and air out her marriage's business to the internet and did not like the response that she got. It was too much for her and realized that she made a mistake. Number 2, her going to TikTok with private issues concerning her marriage probably did not sit well with her husband. In that simple act alone shows exactly why your husband is a better leader than you are. Drink the coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
The Coffee Pod is backed by FathersHaveRights.com. One of the most shocking things...
Hey, man. On another note, hey. You a woman, man, you just need a sister wife, because for the most part, man, you're just bored. You need a sister wife. And I know through the spirit, the whole idea, the whole concept of Isaiah 4:1, as much as you women are not going to admit it, but through the spirit, you're seeing it. It makes sense to you more and more. I know that through the spirit. You can deny it. You can clench your fist and bite your teeth or whatever the case may be, but you women, man, you just need a friend. Why not get you a sister wife?
Attorney revealed in our prenuptial agreement guide is that times are changing. More and more women are the ones demanding prenups. Yes, typically a man will be more hesitant, more afraid to bring up the conversation of a prenuptial agreement before marriage. However, women who are protecting their assets have no problem making it very clear that they will not get married without a prenuptial agreement, especially women who are the primary earners or came from a family with money or business. So the idea that only men care about prenups is a myth. When women who plan to get married have something to protect, they protect it. So my question to all future husbands is, why shouldn't you? Well, the good news is it's not too late. If you need a prenup but don't know where to start, click the link pinned to the top of the comment section and take the first step in protecting your future marriage today. And I really do mean this. This is why you see less men going online and asking the world and the online space, which is mostly toxic in a lot of these spaces where people talk about dating relationships. This is why you see more women than men going out. It's because
because the spirit of Yahweh Shemot Shai speaks in all things. All right, speaks through all things. And one thing that this devil, Boozy, he said years back, man, social media ruined everything. That's one thing that nigga said through the spirit. He was correct, because he was touching on. He mentioned how, there was a time when, before social media, a man, he would go to work, see his little side pieces across town or whatever, and then come home to his woman. And I know the woman, she would the only other dudes she would see, is the niggas that she worked with. She would take her ass home. But this social media shit, like my head brother Nahari says, hey, it's to a point where children see more ass and titties than kings in the ancient world. So this social media, man, fuck shit up, which is all by design.
Get the best of them. They don't know how to move through life without validation from outside forces, and they want to go online and get that validation from the sisterhood. A lot of men don't typically need that. And on the topic of being able to control your emotions, yes, some women are aggressive, some women can be more assertive, but women tend to be more emotional, and their emotions dictate a lot of times the way that they act. Listen, you can choose to deny this fact all that you want, but if you pay attention, you'll see that one of the most singular, important attributes a leader has is that person's ability to not allow emotion to drive them, to act on principle despite what other people around them may think or say, which is a more common trait in men than in women.
The leader of our household and the leader of our marriage, yet I am home.
Okay, so this lady basically is talking about how her husband, she wants her husband to be like the leader
of their family, and she wants him to lead, but like she's the one that's like home and knows what's going on at home, so like he's not really leading. She also says that she's like a very assertive person and he's not. So like maybe don't do that. Maybe just be partners instead. Just because like you're a woman and he's a man doesn't necessarily mean that like he needs to lead you. You're not
Hey guys, let's listen to the woman with the purple hair and septum ring.
a dog, you know. I've always had this issue because I consider myself a house manager. I am a stay-at-home mom, but I do a hell of a lot more than just like watch the kids. Like I manage everybody's schedule. I take care of the house. I take care of the dogs. I take care of the kids. I take care of everything in the house, right? And if my husband were to pay people to do those things, it would cost him a lot of money. So his paycheck is mine because he's paying me basically to do all these things to make his life easier so that he can go to work and make money for the family. You know, like I manage everything here. He
Must be a pleasure married to this woman. You heard that? His paycheck is mine. Guys, I tell you, feminists trick men into marrying them all the time.
goes to work, does that, whatever. But he's never once been like, I'm the leader of this house.
And that's why, as a man, hey man, you gotta stand on business. You gotta stand on business, man. You gotta stand on business. And above all, the business of Yahweh Shema Shai. Man, because how does the saying go? Hey, you know, our grandfathers would be rolling in their graves right now, man. Because the sense of entitlement. You know, here it is as a woman, especially if you have children by other niggas. The sense of entitlement. And it just goes to show you again, everything is upside down, because the way that's supposed to be is you being an asset to him. All right, it's not the other way around. It's bad enough you women have all this baggage, extra baggage, and on top of that baggage, you have even more baggage, children by other men, right? But here it is, he's supposed to bow down himself to you. It's just the delusions. You know, the Wadi Yahweh Shema Shai for unplugging us out of this matrix, because goddamn, you see certain brothers get, you know, zealous for certain topics because, hey, we've been there. We've been there, and what a shame. But of course, it was a learning lesson. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai forbid we go back. God forbid. But it just goes to show you, man, the delusions of these women. Because in the ancient world, again, as a woman, you bring your assets to him. All right. And being with that being said, you submit yourself to a man of wisdom, a man of Yahweh Shema Shai. Hey, the train is going to run smoothly. All right. Because wisdom is on that man. He's going to deal wisely. Again, you women, you don't think long term. All right, you're selfish. It's all about what feels good. It's all about your happiness, and you can never be happy. I always say, you can give the woman the world, Pluto, the sun, Mars, and then some. It would not be enough for these women. It would not be enough. That's why it's just best submit and shut up. Just be quiet. You submit yourself to a man of Yahweh Shema Shai, hey, he's going to have your best interests of heart. And that's Stockholm Syndrome in righteousness. Because what is Stockholm Syndrome? Hey, basically you develop that feelings, emotions for the slave master, for the captor. Because oftentimes he might give you benefits, or whatever the case may be. But how much more in righteousness? Oh, that's slavery. Well, it is slavery, goddammit. But when you submit yourself to someone that has your best interests at heart, and he actually looks after you and whatnot, and you can't do no wrong. And the scripture said we are slaves for Hamashiach, and we love it over here. We love it. We love it, man. The scriptures talk about, let me get this, in Job. Is that Job? Actually, that's Proverbs. I think that's Proverbs. Look for this. So this comes with the territory of being a slave to Yahweh Bashim Shai. like I said, we love it over here, man. We have Stockholm Syndrome and righteousness. Proverbs 3:23. Then shalt thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. Why is that? Because we're covered. We're going to be protected. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Why is that? Because, hey, we ain't got nothing to worry about. As long as we're serving Yahweh Shemashah in sincerity and in truth. Because what does the scripture say? The Lord loaded us up with daily benefits. So, as long as we're serving Yahweh Shemashah in sincerity and in truth, hey, that's what the scripture say. Rest with us. We have peace of mind. We have comfort. Yahweh Shemashah, he's got our back. Brothers deal with all types of situations, but hey, you know, nothing is separating us from the love of Yahweh Shemashah, man. Because the Lord's going to look out. And if you come up under that umbrella, that vibration, and you play your role to the best of your ability. We know, hey, brothers know, we're not going to have any Sarahs on the side. We know this. Because the same way we're trying to serve Yahweh Shemashah in sincerity and in truth, but we're filthy. We're never going to be perfect before our power, before our husband. But you best believe, hey, a woman that's trying to do right, oh, man. Hey, that man can't help but to go out of his way. He can't help but to buy you flowers and, you know, give you, you know, tend to you. And that's likewise us with our power. You know, we're trying to serve Yahweh Shemashah to the best of our ability. And you can't beat that. You can't beat that. The Lord loves that, man. That sincerity.
And you need to listen to me because I am a man and I have a... No.
Of course, because his balls are chopped off.
That's not how it works. You know that old expression that like boomers say, like, the man is the head of the household and the woman is the neck. That's the dumbest shit ever. Because basically what that means is that the woman does everything. Because the neck, you got to move your neck to be able to move your head. And basically that means that the head is just there doing nothing. Just a figurehead, just there. You know, I've always hated that expression because it minimizes women. It minimizes the amount of work that women who choose to stay home do, you know? So.
And, you know, we talked about this the other day, Monday's fellowship. Because, hey, you women are second-class citizens, but there's nothing wrong with that. You are second-class citizens, but there's nothing wrong with that. Your roles are important. They're just not as equally as important as a man. Your influence is important. Your influence is important. And I always go back to reference Abigail. You know, dealing with her husband and how she disrespected King David. Hey, King David was on his way to get carnal, be carnal, but what happened? Abigail, she stepped in, and hey, that influence stopped King David from you know, getting carnal, going off. And what ended up happening? And the Lord killed Abigail's husband, which freed her from the law. All right, and that way she was able to get another husband, and hey, she ended up becoming King David's husband. But that influence, your roles are important. And it's not to say that you just sitting up in the basement somewhere with duct tape on your mouth. No, you know, your influence is important.
I think that this lady, she didn't say if she has kids or not, but if she has kids, like, because she's not just staying home, she also works from home. So it's not like she's just staying at home. So she wants another adult, a man, to lead her, even though she's an adult. Like, you're not a child. You don't need to be led. You guys can be partners, especially if she's saying, like, it's not really in his nature.
What does scripture say? Talk about children ruling the households, man. Women and children ruling the households. Because again, women being emotional and they put the children first. But even with that being said, women having that childlike mindset, because women don't grow up past a certain age. This is why they need to be led. They have to be led. This is why they have to be led. Because you know, you women, man, you know, you're just all over the place. That's why like I said, man, hey, it's just best you just submit to a man of Yahweh Shemashah and shut up. Someone needs to do the thinking for you. Might sound ridiculous, but someone needs to think for you.
To lead. So then why would you want someone that isn't, like, that doesn't come naturally to them? Why would you want them to do that when that's not who they are, you know? Just be partners instead. It's a hell of a lot easier, and you get a lot more autonomy that way.
Autonomy. First off, there's no such thing as 50-50. This chick here runs her household 100%. 100%. In addition to that, being a stay-at-home mom and raising up children is definitely honorable work, but it's not harder than providing for a whole family. I said it. I said it. As somebody who's a new father, experienced it, and plan to have more kids, I'm here to report it is not that hard. Listen, if you have the following 4 things, it's really not that difficult. It's really not that hard. Number 1 is a good emotional outlet. I don't care if it's a church or a significant other who you can talk to, or
Get you some sister wives.
other family members who you can reach out to for help. So obviously, if you don't have that, then you know what to do to work on that. That's number 1. Number 2 is you need to have a decent, doesn't have to be perfect, a decent amount of organization skills, because you're going to have to structure your day. Number 3, you need to not hate cooking. And number 4, you need to not hate cleaning, because you're going to be doing a lot of that. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people, especially feminists today, hate those 2 things,
It's so
cooking
basic.
and cleaning.
So
And as somebody who enjoys to cook and who has no problem cleaning, I grew up washing dishes, and
You see, like I said, a woman being in the workforce, you're not built for being in those stressful environments. That's why a lot of women are aggressive, assertive, being in that environment where, you know, you're dealing with, you know, you're around all this masculine energy, around all this masculine spirits, you know, and you come home, you're bringing that energy to the house, because, you know, you women, you know, you women, you're made to absorb. All right, that's why, and I hate to you know, select you for sounding, you know, for being vulgar, but because, you know, you have women that talk about, you know, I fucked this nigga, right? Well, no, you get fucked. All right, select you to be vulgar with it, but hey, you know, you don't fuck, you get fucked, or you get penetrated. You are the absorbers. You know, you absorb your body, your incubators. So with all that being said, you absorb all this energy, the spirits being in this environment, all this masculine energy, and you wonder why you're so assertive and aggressive. You know, you see, man, and this is why you find yourself better when you're in your natural state. Like I said in the beginning, you're taught to fight against your nature. You wonder why you're in that condo all by yourself, depressed. Well, no man you can't keep them in. You can get a man, it's easy, but you wonder why no one wants to take you serious. You know, man. But I guarantee you find yourself more satisfied, satiated when you're in your natural state. And because like I mentioned earlier, well, that was the Bible days. Well, newsflash, we're still in the Bible days, all right? And the ways of Yahweh Shema Shah are being reestablished on the earth. So this is what we're seeing. And it works. It simply just works. The Lord's way works.
doing chore after chore after chore, which should show you how you should raise up not just your daughters, but also sons, to prepare them, because most likely they'll be in the type of marriage, if they want to value that in the future, where both people will work. And so they'll probably be helping out with domestic chores to a degree, even though the woman may take the majority of those chores on. But you have those 4 things, it's not as difficult as they paint it to be online.
Your husband is the leader of your household, apartment. And you felt the need to tell all of us that for what? You know what I mean? Like, so many of these videos I see, it's actually sad how much you all's, like, personal marriage and the dynamics of that are for other people's validation and approval. Because that video, if you've seen it, of this woman talking about how her husband is the head of the household, even though they live in an apartment, which maybe he can be the head of the household when you actually live in a house. Sorry.
Shaming. All right, she's over there shaming him because they live in an apartment. And by the way, just because people live in an apartment, it does not mean that you make more money than them, that you are financially in a better position than they are. Listen, what you see with your eyes, especially when it comes to finances, doesn't translate to reality in many, many cases.
But that he has no idea what's happening, like, at home. Like, she made it.
This is why a lot of women are becoming homeless, getting evicted, because why? Well, Again, you don't think long term. All right. Just because you make a certain amount of money, you know, you don't understand the concept of living above your means. Versus a man, hey, men are simple. Men are so simple that it bothers you women. It fucks with you women's mind because you're complicated creatures. You're so difficult. That something so simple, it's hard for you to fathom because you overcomplicate things, you know. But a man can make six figures, and hey, he can, you know, rent out a 1-bedroom apartment, man, you know, and be good. You know, he doesn't need the top notch, get a 2025 brand new car, you know, living above his means or whatnot. You see, man, you know, it's simple. It's simple to the simple.
Is the house economics, essentially. Everything that allows it to, like, function. Like, I guess, cooking, cleaning, all that shit. And he's not very assertive, but she's assertive. And it's like, what you have is working for you with you maintaining the house, which is a very, already, like, base one gender roles, you know what I mean? But for some reason, it's like it has to be, he's the head of the household, and it's like you need this extra validation and reassurance. And it's like, sad. It's sad. Like, happy people don't do shit like this. Like, what this feels like is deep down, you feel a certain type of way about your man not being super assertive, or you feel a problem with the fact that you are assertive or that you have to make all the decisions at home, and you're coming online to kind of like get some validation about.
And that's the thing. Another thing, you know, you sacrifice everything logical for your happiness. And like I said, a woman, she can never be happy. She'll never be satisfied. And that's why as a man, you just straight up point blank period, you can't give a fuck. All right? You can't give a fuck. A woman is never going to be happy or nor satisfied.
Or to get reassurance and act like, no, I love it. He's the leader. He leads me. I follow. It's like, you're a grown-up woman. This is weird. This is weird.
So if her getting online to get validation from the sisterhood is weird, then it's weird when other chicks do it as well. Again, pointing to my original stance. The justification and him being a better leader within her marriage can be seen in this whole situation. He doesn't need to get online and try to get validation from the internet. You do. Top commenter says, leader of the apartment is killing me. Somebody else here says, head of the 2-bedroom apartment. Somebody else here added, do the rest of the tenants know he's the leader? Another person who says, head of the household and couldn't keep the house running if she was gone for a day. Here's somebody else who says, what do you bring to the manufacturer table? Here's another person who added, leader of apartment has me cackling. Another person who says, he's the lead actress. Another person here added, head of household. What is this big brother? Here's somebody else who says, it's all performative. All from a chick who has numerous videos in a bonnet. Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you checking.
That fucking bonnet. You know, man, hey. It's simple to the simple, man. And you know what's dangerous? These type of bitches, man, you know, talking this shit, man. Oh man. You know, these bitches that talk shit, they sound deep. In their mind, they're deep. In their mind, they make sense to themselves. That's what's crazy. And all these other little simpletons, because it's lucky, because I said I was gonna stop calling, you know, these women bitches. All right, because a dog is loyal, man. All right, a dog is loyal. Dogs are loyal. So I gotta get out of that habit. But you know, these unfaithful dogs, all right, they talk this talk, they talk their nonsense, and man, I know Slovakia on another note, because you know, as a man, you know, you talk to these women, man, these unfaithful dogs, and man, you lose brain cells. You lose brain cells, because again, they sound deep in their mind. Oh, they just so deep. Shit is crazy. That's why, like I said, respectfully, just shut up. All right. But I'm gonna get this last one in Ecclesiastes, because again, as a man, hey, it's time to stand up, step up. All right, set your standard, dog. All right, have your standard, because to you hopefully elect brothers, Yahweh Shema Shah is dealing with you. All right, the Lord is dealing with you. What you say goes. And hey, when these people, man, dealing with these people and these women, hey, they don't want to get with your program, hey, they can kick rocks. All right, the Lord is dealing with you. Ecclesiastes 3:9. For the blessing of the father establisheth the houses of children, but the curse of the mother rooteth out foundations. So you see, that's why these women being in these positions of leadership, everything goes to shit. You see, but hey, you being a man of Yahweh Shema Shai, hey, the Lord will work, the Lord will manipulate situations for you, all right, on your behalf. All right, you're the blessing, you're the gift, you're the prize, you Israelite man. And I know that's nails on a chalkboard for these women, but hey, who gives a damn? All right, who gives a damn? All right, Yahweh Shema Shai is dealing with brothers. He's dealing with you, hopefully elect brothers. All right, what you say goes, and hey, the Lord will work shit out on your behalf. All right, and I always make this reference, man. Hey, if there was one elect man in the city of Orlando, hey, Yahweh Shema Shai will have it to where everything works out. The Lord preserve that whole city for that one elect man. All right, for that one elect man, the Lord he'll reserve Orlando, the whole city of Orlando. All right, he'll keep that city up and running for that one man. You know, just go show you again, man. Yahweh Shema Shai, he's dealing with his men. All right. So, Lord, one of this was edifying, and if you just so happen to see this video, you know, copyright disclaimer, fair use. I didn't make any money off of your content. All right, this was just for informational purposes. So, Lord, one of this was edifying. All praise to Yahweh Shema Shai. Shalom to you. Hopefully, let.